Okay, there we go. So I love vision boards. I have done vision boards a lot every year. Um, and I actually used to do them with my students, and I know Angie did too. So we do have a few ag teachers tuning in. So if you're an ag teacher, this could actually be really fun to do with your students as well, because it kind of gets them thinking of different things. And so, yeah. So when I was thinking of a topic, actually, we've been on a big kick at my work with Chat GPT. So Nikki will like this because I typed into Chat GPT. I was like, what should I title this like vision board workshop? And it gave me this long list. And the one I really loved was like from vision to victory. And so I'm hoping this kind of gives you an outline of like what a vision board is, what are some ways. I'd like if you have a notebook and a pen, grab something. I've got some hot chocolate. Like, so if you need to take a second while I'm kind of starting this, definitely grab some pen and paper because I want you to get some juices flowing and have some ideas that then you can turn around. I have my vision board for 2023 behind me. I wish I had my past vision boards, but they got ruined when we moved. I tried to keep them and then they got destroyed. But let's kick this thing off. So most of you guys know who I am. There's a few unfamiliar faces on here, but I'm Brianna Mueller. So I'm a former teacher. I now work for North Dakota Career and Technical Education and help oversee Ag Ed and FFA in our state. And teaching is still near and dear in my heart, which is why I think I like to do stuff like this, because it's a fun way to still help people. And that's where my desire really is I love helping other people achieve their goals. I think there's nothing better than it. I'm an Enneagram 2, so I strive, like my purpose in life is to help other people. We live in northern Minnesota. And I'm a mom of a 9-month-old. And then I am a leader of a team of over 100 goal getters. So some people on here have joined me in the body world and stuff like that. Or I've got them hooked on Energize, which I think is the most incredible product. I almost took some before this. And then I was like, probably shouldn't if I want to like sleep it all tonight. But I realized I wanted to do this call because I pour a lot into my team and I do weekly team calls, but I was like, you know what? I think people outside of that could just benefit because there's a lot of people who have goals, who want to do more with goals, but we don't really get that in our day-to-day careers. I think we touch on it maybe like at the beginning of the year or whatever, but we don't actually get that time to connect with other people. And so that's where this is going to be super fun. I see a lot of teachers in here. Yeah. Oh, Nikki, you're my boss. Nikki is my boss. And so that's funny. So the power of vision. So what's this call all about? The thing is that I believe wholeheartedly that your subconscious has a ton of power. And I think that creating a vision, setting goals, all of that sets you up for success. I was going to look up the stat, but really a lot of us don't care much about stats, but I think it's somewhere around you are like 73% more likely to achieve a goal if you write it down and you put it in front of yourself and talk to people about it. So tonight, as we go through, I would love, like, I am someone who's interactive. So like, feel free to like put stuff in the chat. Everyone on this call are literally some of the most incredible human beings I've ever met. So I'm just saying that because this is a safe space, and right, like people are like, in a safe space, like not in like that mushy gushy way of just like, no one is going to sit here and if you say a crazy goal or something, like no one is going to be like, who the heck does this person think she is? It's just a cool space to get to know one another. Everyone on here is a very driven woman. So we all get where you're coming from. Number 2 is it also provides inspiration, because even when you're having your really, really crappy days, you feel like nothing you're doing is right. You're feeling down on yourself, or you're having a really hard time at work. I always come back to my vision board and remember, like, I am making progress towards my goals. And so that's helpful. Number 3, it aligns us with our goals. I think one thing that I've really stepped into this year is aligning my work with my goals in life, and getting rid of things that don't align. So I think we talk a lot about taking more stuff on in our lives, but we don't talk about getting rid of the things that no longer align with who we are and the picture we have for our life. So kind of like the overarching question of tonight is kind of like, what do you picture for your life? So I don't mean necessarily like a monetary goal, a job goal, anything, but like, what do you picture? Do you picture having, like, do you picture where you're living currently? Do you picture living someone else? Do you picture going on a vacation every single year? Do you picture yourself, living, like, I think of Julie Boris, who's a gal I really love, who's big on goals and goal setting. And like, her vision was always to live close enough to Disney to see the fireworks from her house every night. And so like that drove her to a lot of success. Number 4, it helps us focus on the future, kind of instead of, right, like sitting in the now, which can sometimes be crappy. And it gives us a reminder, because 90% of the world is going to write a goal on January 1st. And by January 15th, they have already stopped chasing that goal. And that is like a true stat. It's not actually 90. I don't remember what the stat is, because who cares about like actual numbers? Okay, some people do. But the point of saying that is most people stop their yearly goals by January 15th. And so having this hard board, like, I look at this every single day. It's actually hanging in my workout room. And I'm reminded every single day. And some things shift and change, and we'll talk about that, because I have like a picture of my classroom and stuff about school on here, which halfway through the year, I was no longer a teacher. So you're allowed to shift and change. But that's why we're focusing on like, what do you want your life to look like? Because our goals should always get us to there. So let's see here. Reminder, I keep opening the chat and I shouldn't, because then I get distracted. So there's no right or wrong way to do this. A few things we'll talk about. Like, I am someone who's like paper. I really like putting stuff on paper. I like the stickers, the writing, all of that kind of stuff. But I also have, like, in the background of my phone, like, I also have like a mini vision board. So it has a picture of our team and then like our goals we have on there, a quote, that kind of stuff. And so I like surround myself. Some people talk about manifestation. Some people don't like that word, but I feel like when you surround yourself with your goal and you remind yourself of your goal over and over again, you're destined to hit it, because you're programming, again, we go back to your retraining your brain to seek out ways to hit that goal. And so I'm really excited to kind of like dig in. So some categories, if you have your notebook, some categories I want you to think about, and you can start thinking and writing down goals, is like, here's just some possible categories they could be in: personal goals, career goals, maybe entrepreneurship. I know we have a lot of body partners on here, wellness, financial, spiritual, home, family, other. Literally, you can have any goal you want in the world. But I think it's important. I try to pick things in different areas, and you can do it. I've done my vision boards different all the time, but like, I compartmentalized my life into different things I do every day. So like, on my vision board last year, I had my career, which is ag education. I had our farm. So I had things on here like, we will buy beef cattle and raise our own beef, which didn't happen this year, but we got sheep. And right, like, so it's doesn't mean you have to, like, you're going to die if you don't hit these, but it gives you a goal. I had a picture of our vehicle and we'll pay off our 1 ton and our Acadia. And so like, that was my financial goal for the year. I had a workout photo, and that I talked about stretching and meditating every day. It had kind of my body goals of being a 2-star diamond team, like different things up there. And then I had our family goal. So have a healthy baby. And then down here was my boutique goals, which I kind of started to transition out of, because with the going into motherhood, I could not do everything I used to do. But I would just take a few seconds, like, think of those different categories, like, what do you want it to look like? And there's no right or wrong way. Goals, we'll talk about those a little more specifically, but a lot of you guys maybe had some goal training. Obviously, some of you guys train on goals, but there's kind of different ways we can look at them. So it's totally up to you, paper or digital. Some people really like using Canva, is a really easy one to use. If you've never used Canva, that's a tool that I use every single day, because it's like the most, like, it makes you seem like you're a graphic design artist with zero training. It is fantastic, but you can pull in the photos, you can pull in words, or again, like I probably will create one like on digital, and then I'll come and make it this way. Or I thought about making a poster and like sending it to Walmart to print, because I think you can get a poster like this for like 20 bucks. So let's get into like the actual like nitty gritty of what to do. So number one is set your goals. So what I did is every year I go through and I write down what I want my goals to be. And I pick my areas, right? Financial, career, family, that was farm, family, whatever. And I wrote like 2 to 3 goals. The thing is I try to, so write those goals down, and I want you to pick the ones that are like the top 10. Like, what are 10 things? Because honestly, we probably won't accomplish all 10 things in a year, and we can put like 87 goals on our board, and then we end up trying to do too much. Or if you're someone who like gets overwhelmed, we see all these different things to do, and then we get paralyzed and don't take any action because we're kind of like a deer in the headlights and not quite sure what to do. So what do you want to accomplish in 2024? And I kind of go back to like, what is the why? So it's kind of cheesy, right? But I think of like, great, I could say I want to make $100,000. Okay, but like, why? Because at the end of the day, you're not going to jump out of bed to have your bank account say $100,000. You're going to jump out of bed because of what that can do for you, right? The why of like, I really want to pay off debt so I can feel financially secure and I don't stay awake at night worrying about these bills coming in. Or maybe it's because you really want to take your kids on vacation, or you want to be able to buy your kids whatever they want for Christmas and not worry about it, or whatever that goal is, right? Like, think of the why behind it. Or like, I had goals on here, maybe it's a weight loss goal. Like, why? At the end of the day, like, no one is going to go push play on a workout because they want to lose 10 pounds. That's not motivating. They want to lose 10 pounds because they want to run around with their kids more, or they want to be able to get a clear bill of health from their doctor, or they want to be able to get up and off the floor easier, right? So think of that. And then SMART goals are really great, right? Like, we preach SMART goals all the time of, are they specific? Are they measurable? Are they attainable? That kind of stuff. But I also want you to think about like, what are those puke goals? And what I talk about with puke goals, yeah, like literally like what makes you throw up in your mouth a little when you think about it, or like if you said it out loud. Like, I think those goals that you don't want to tell anyone because they're probably going to think like, this lady is psychotic. And so I think of those. And good puke goals are goals you can grow into, right? Like, I was out on a teacher visit, and he said a quote that obviously was for FFA, but I think it applies everywhere. Is he said, it isn't getting the award that is important. It's the journey of getting there and who you become in the process. So he said, like, it's not the degree that matters, it's the pursuit of the degree that matters. And it's kind of the same theory as checking off your goal probably isn't going to give you as much satisfaction as we think it is. It's more so who we become in the process. Number 2, set your limiting beliefs aside. I mean, we're all women, and we all think we can't do certain things, or we all think like, well, I'm a mom, so I can't do that. Or, I just don't have that skill set. I can't do that. And so I really want you to set your limiting beliefs aside. And then write your goals in first person. So when you're writing them on your vision board, write, I am blank, blank, blank. I am the whatever you want to be, or I made $10,000 with my side hustle, or I paid off my car, or like, right. So try to phrase them in I am statements. It should still be on goals. And let me know if it's not changing. Okay, I'm like, let me know if it's not changing, because sometimes it doesn't. Another thing with goals is you can set a timeline, but this can be variable. Sometimes it freaks people out. The timeline thing, if you're someone who's a procrastinator, set a timeline. Like, if my thing is, if I give myself all year to do something, I'm probably not going to start on it till December. So shorten it up and make sure it aligns with you. Okay. So that was kind of the longest part, but one thing to think about too. So like, my goals are on here. it's hard to see because you're like far away. And if I try to move this, it's probably going to get funky. But so I have my goals on there around the category. And you can set this up anyway, but step 2 would be your images and words. So like what images and words remind you of your goals and your visions for 2024. So if you want, like, pop in, I know some of you guys have already done vision boards before. Like, what are some images you guys put on your vision boards? Is it a vacation spot you want to go to? Is it like, what are things you guys put on your vision boards? Feel free to drop those in the chat. And so what is going to remind you? Like, I looked at this picture of our truck every single day. So then every single day when I was working towards paying it off, I was reminded by it. Or I had a picture, this is a really old picture I printed off. It's a picture of us standing in front of the cows we used to have because we want cows again. So like, what do you want your life to look like? Or the other thing is like, what do you want your life to feel like? That is a big thing. What do you want to feel? Do you want to feel freedom is one of my words. Like, I have a quote up here we'll talk about that's about freedom. You know, do you want, is it a picture? I had a picture of our ultrasound because I was like big in like, I wanted to remember, like, I was working out every single day, even though I felt like trash pregnant, like I was working out so that I felt better. And then I like think of vacations, images of drawings. Yep. So Sarah G is putting up a new garage, and their goal is to pay it off like without having to take out a loan. So she has her new garage on there. Deanne has a picture of her kids because she wants more quality time where she's present. So I think that whatever motivates you is a good picture to have. I have a picture of when we were in Punta Cana last time, because the big thing is I wanted to go back and earn that trip again. And so that motivated me. Quotes. If anyone has some really good quotes off the top of their head, that's like a life-changing quote, feel free to drop it. I am someone who is obsessed with quotes. Like, I am constantly writing down quotes because I think people have a lot more eloquent words than I have. But what are some quotes to help you remember why you're working hard every day and working towards your goals? So like some quotes, and they kind of relate to like the goals you had that year. And so I had like, success is a decision, passion plus consistency equals success, less thankful focused, I'm creating the life of my dreams. Like, I just thought of quotes, or maybe they're from quotes of people you look up to or mentor, or maybe it's something that someone has said to you about your like, people have said really nice things about you. I think one thing we should start doing is putting those reminders somewhere. When I taught, I took a binder and I put every note someone wrote me, a student, coworker, whatever, and I put those in my binder, because when I literally was crying my eyes out because a student was so mean to me, I like used it as reassurance of like, no, like, right, we need that reassurance in our lives as women. We always, I think, see the negatives in ourselves, and so it's just nice to have the reminders of good things. Megan says she always tells my students, can't means won't. Super good one, right? Because how many times are you like, I really should do something, but I can't right now, I'm too busy, or I can't do this because of XYZ. And so that's a really good one. Can't, won't, and reframing ourselves in our mind. Number 4 are affirmations. I am obsessed with affirmations, mostly because I think they have so much power. It goes back to retraining our brains. If we went around the room and we held hands, sang Kumbaya, right, and talked about all of our traumas in life, we would probably come to find out that a lot of us struggled with a lot of things growing up. And I think something that we don't do enough of is trying to reprogram and break that generational cycle. And I believe in affirmations so much because I think what we say to ourselves and repeat. Did my sound go off? Okay, no, okay. Nikki just dropped a really good book. I always watch that and it wasn't going. And so always use I am statements. There's a bunch of affirmation cards you can get, but I all the time, like, I am powerful, I am passionate, and guys, we think like this is so rah-rah, it's so cheesy, it's so like, this crap doesn't work, right? Like, there's no way, but it really does. Like, I am great at my job. I remind myself all the time, sometimes I feel very underqualified to do the job I'm currently doing. And I literally remind myself, like, I am the person they picked for this job. Like, if they didn't want me, they would have picked someone else, or they would have reopened the job because my office does that. So, right, like, we have to remind ourselves, like, I am in this position because I'm qualified, or like, I am doing the best I can. I am right. There's tons. I actually, I personally have a Pinterest board of these, and every single morning I journal and I say 3 affirmations, 3 things I'm grateful for, and three intentions for the day. But we have to constantly be reminding ourselves of our greatness, because our mind always wants to default to the negative. So that's a good thing to put on your vision board as well. Step 5 is decoration. That's the fun part. What extra flair would you like? Are you a sparkle person? When I was in a sorority, we weren't allowed to have glitter, like, because our house manager was like, glitter gets everywhere. So maybe you're like anti-glitter. Maybe again, you're like, I am not decorative, so you want to make it on Canva, or you just want to do something like that. But I had so much fun just like getting stickers and printing stuff off and getting to have different colors, maybe use your favorite colors. Like, mine is literally blue and gold, because like my life revolves around, I get an FFA. And so those are kind of like the staple colors of my life. And this was just like that washi tape. I think that's what it's called. I don't really know. I'm not a big crafter. Like, this is as crafty as I get in a year. But add some flair to it and it can be super fun. And then the last step, maybe this is the last step, I don't remember, is where should you hang it? So hang it somewhere you'll see it every single day, so that it serves as a constant reminder. Maybe it's in the bathroom, maybe it's in your bedroom, maybe like mine is in my workout space, maybe you put yours right next to your front door. And I used to always be like, well, what if people see my vision board? Are they gonna think it's weird? But I think, again, when people are surrounded by people they know that have goals, that have ambitions, that have dreams, I think it brings out the better in them too. And so that's why I wanted to share this with everyone, and as many people as possible, because I don't think we get around other people that are dreamers, doers, go-getters enough. I think we spend a lot of time in our own box, and a lot of adults aren't willing to see outside of the box. And so it should serve as a constant reminder of your dreams, your goals, your ambitions. And it can be really fun too, like if you have a supportive spouse, or you have a supportive parent or kids, that can help with it. I know I have a friend, I love the debt-free charts. I use those a lot. I have a friend who, her kids go in and color it, because her kids are like, they think it's fun to color it, and they get to celebrate together. And how fun is that? Like, I just think of the generational cycle. Like, my parents still to this day take out a lot of like home equity. Like, it's just like, oh, like, we'll just borrow it against your house, or like, oh, take the vacation, just put it on your credit card. Which is not how I like, right? My money mindset is like, that came from my parents. And so it's just different, because it's like, now I'm teaching Natalie, like, try to pay stuff off in a timely manner, so you don't like have a bunch of debt racked up and you feel like you're drowning. And so it's fun to get your family involved. So that's all I have for the vision board workshop. Yes, 25. I can talk all day long, so I try to keep things to like 25 minutes to like half an hour. Do you guys have any questions? Any of my gals who have done vision boards before want to chime in? Anything like that? Oh, stop share. Holy moly, I just jumped on, and there's a lot of human beings on here, so that's fun. Anyone have any comments, questions, anything about vision, goals, anything? I'm a teacher, so I can stand here and stare at you for a very long time. No, no. I want to hear some of the big, okay. If you guys have a goal you want, how about, I would love to hear them if you want to drop them. Like, what is a goal for 2024? Or what is a word you have for 2024? Or like, through this brain process, like this brainstorming, like, where is your brain at for 2024? I'd love to hear it in the chat. That's what Sarah is saying. Yeah. Like, what are some things that are on your mind in 2024? I'd love to hear them. Some big things of ours are getting cows, paying off student loans. I think the big thing is I really have to sit down and like reflect sometime. Yep. Deanne said, sometimes I feel like I make my goal too big, like it would take a whole year to make it happen. How do you recommend breaking it down to make it more manageable? I love that question. So I would create steps and map it out. So for example, I had an income goal that I wanted for my side business and my direct marketing company. So I took that goal, like that yearly goal, and then I broke it down into a monthly goal. So like if you have a really big goal, what you could do is like figure out what your goal is per month, or like where you are to stay on track with that, so that you can adjust it if you fall behind, or like tracking. I'm another person, I think like tracking is the best way. You should be figuring out your numbers if it is a goal. Like weight loss is an easy one to like talk about. Say you have a weight loss goal of like 20 pounds, then I would be like, you should track that so that you know if you're making progress or not making progress, so it doesn't get to December and you're like, I'm stuck at the same spot. Now I need to lose 20 pounds in a month or anything. Like I want to pay off, I have $35,000 in student loans. If I don't know, like, okay, if my goal is to pay those off in 2024, I need an exact number every single month to like work towards that. And the other thing, like with the puke goals, is I'm a firm believer, if you set a goal higher, like if Deanne said she makes her goal too big, I think it's better to set your goal bigger and like run after that. Like my goal is to pay off all our student loans. Now that's a very lofty goal considering we have like $35,000. But if I push myself and I only end up paying, my computer is going to die. Hang on, I forgot about that. I'm glad I saw that. I am the queen. I moved over here just so I could do that. And so there we go. Saved it. 3%. We almost had a catastrophe. If you set a goal higher, I think like the whole like shoot for the moon, land them on the stars, that cheesy quote, that's what I think of, because like I set a goal that I didn't think, like I wrote, we'll pay off our 1 ton in Acadia this year. And I thought like, there's no way in God's green earth that's going to happen, because that was about $30,000 of vehicle debt. And we just like, I visualized it. I worked at it every single day and I tracked. And so then I knew like how much was left. And we ended up paying that off September, I think. So shoot high, because even if, you know, my student loan example, sorry, I'm like all over the place, but even if I only pay off 25,000, that's still probably more than I would if I didn't set that goal at all, or set that high goal. I love that. Nikki wants to use her late mother's sewing machine to make kids blankets. You'll have to have William show you. I am not a sewer, but that would be fun to have a hobby. Yeah, Nikki, I love Nikki. You need a hobby. That's besides work. So we'll figure it out. Jessica says her word that comes to mind is happiness. Then that helped me decide on what areas to focus. I think happiness, like one thing could be, again, freedom, like time freedom is what I think of. Like so many of us are people who say yes to a lot of things. Like where do we need to start saying no to things? Or one could be like less stress. Like, is this going to bring me less stress or more stress? If it's going to bring me more, I get rid of it. Get her oil changed on time. Yeah. Invest. Sarah wants to invest 30 to 50,000 between paying extra on our mortgage, education fund, right? Investment. That's a really awesome goal. And so, see, your goals can be anything, and it doesn't have to be income related. It doesn't have to be, I just challenge you. Yeah. Like, what does that look like? What does that feel like? So Jessica talked about happiness. Like, what does happiness feel like? Does it feel like you go to bed, and how are you going to achieve that? So like one practice I would suggest for happiness or more happiness is like a gratitude practice. Are you going to practice gratitude every single night? So as we wrap up, something I want you to think about, I'm going to leave you with a few questions, is like, how do you want to feel in 2024? What are some things you want to feel? What do I want to be when it comes to this area? Like I think of like my career, my goals were align my classes to serve my students, earn 10 credits towards my master's degree. Like that's because I wanted to be the best I could be and I wanted to go above and beyond. And so think of who you want to be, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to experience? I thought I was listening to a thing on vision boards earlier today, right? Because I was like, what if I don't actually know what I'm talking about? That whole imposter syndrome. And I was listening and she just kept saying, what do you want to experience? Again, it's great that you want to pay off your car. It's great you want to invest. It's great you want to like get a hobby, but like why? Like why do you want to do that? What do you want to experience? Like do you want to experience the relaxation? Do you want to experience the security of knowing you have that backup? Do you want to experience the happiness? Or like it's great to hit a big goal, to walk across the stage, to get the plaque, to get the award, but is it because you want to feel proud of yourself? Like you want to feel like you're changing lives, you're making a difference in this world. So and what do you want to have? And not necessarily like, I'm not talking about material items, but again, that happiness Jessica talked about, or freedom is a big one for me, of like the freedom of stress, doubt, anxiety, worry, that kind of stuff. And so I hope you guys got something out of this. I would love it if you, like, I am not kidding. Like, please, I would love if you make a vision board, take a picture of it and send it to me, because like this, again, I've never done anything like this where I've just been like, hey, come chat with me and learn about vision boards, but I'd love to see them and cheer you on. Cause again, my favorite thing is watching people set themselves up for success and get to hit goals. And so, yeah. Otherwise, I want to thank you all for hopping on. This was like the coolest thing ever. I felt like I was back teaching, felt like COVID teaching, but I hope you all have a great night and a good New Year's, because New Year's is Monday. So if you're starting New Year's resolutions, what was it today? It's not, it's no longer resolutions. It's New Year's. I can't remember it. I can't remember. I'll let you know when I remember. It's something, a word with an A, but that's all I got for you. So a good way to end it. Thanks for jumping on, and I will, can't wait to see your guys' vision boards. Send them to me. I'm serious. No joke.